Hey, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Alicia. So, I'm going to continue the conversation, and my air conditioning is on. Hello. Um, I haven't been getting what can I do questions from my church as much as other friend groups, but I'm going to make this video anyway. Because as a lifelong Catholic, I'm just going to say the elephant in the room and get to it. I've seen a lot and experienced a lot of racism in my own church, and I love Catholic. I love being Catholic. I'm not going to necessarily leave the church, but sometimes I just wonder, you talk about your brothers and sisters of Christ, but then when I see you out in public and see you around other people, you act different. And one of the things I noticed right off the bat, sometimes I'll walk in church and they act like they don't know who I am. I'm non-existent, you got your little cliques. And keep in mind, like, this is a church. I could understand, this happening in Hollywood, this happening in different circles I run in, like even Alpha Phi Omega, because it's an organization, it's a club. You understand people have their cliques, but to not feel welcome in your own church, sometimes I'm just like, and I just go to church for God, not the people. But it would be nice, especially in my younger days, if they were practicing what they preach, because they would say, "Oh, you're welcome here," and "Blessed be God," and all these sayings, but then they act like shit Monday through Saturday, but then on Sunday they're acting all holier than thou. And I noticed this a lot in the Catholic churches I've been to over the years of my life. And I mean, no church is perfect, and I understand that, but I always notice when the only time they want to be bothered with me or somebody in my family is when they think we had something. So it kind of goes against your saying that everybody's welcome. Because if that's the case, then how can you say hi and include some people, but then there's times where you don't include others? And being a black Catholic, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stories out there of good things, but a lot of stories of bad. I would say I have like a nice mix, because while I do have a lot of good memories in the Catholic Church, there's a lot of memories that I'm just like, yeah. I think I just want to start anew somewhere else, because every time I'm in Indy, see my Indigo shirt? Every time I'm in Indianapolis, they're like, you should go back home to your home parish. And I'm just like, too many bad memories, and I rather start over at a new parish. Every time I'm in New York, I try to go St. Patrick's. I try to visit. There's this church that I really love in Atlanta, Charles Stanley. I know you're not Catholic, but I love coming to his church because it's a beautiful church, and I just like going. So I definitely like visiting other churches, and I find it interesting. Like I said, every time I come home, you should come back. I'm like, I don't think so. No, thank you. You know how you just have so many bad memories that you just rather start over somewhere else. And again, they say, well, those people are gone. All the bad people are gone. I'm like, I'm just not really all that convinced yet. I do got my liquor, but I want to drink water. I had a little calorie episode today, and I don't want to consume any more calories right now. Maybe in an hour, but not right now. And I will tell you another thing that I can think of right off the top of my head. I went on a bunch of retreats. And of course, awakening retreats, you get close to people. But then I noticed as time went on, they would go back to their white friend cliques, completely exclude me. And like one girl that was even like seen as a leader in one of the churches that I was involved with completely blocked me off Facebook. I didn't do anything. I was just living my life, going about my business. And I can't begin to tell you the number of times that people I went on retreat with, people that I've gone to church with, they act one way around this group of friends, then act another way around this white group of friends, act this way around this group of friends. And like, by the time it's all said and done, I don't want to analyze 30, 20, 40 different personalities. So I said, you know what? I'm done, because I'm not going to try to figure her out. I just try to treat people the way I want to be treated. And even if they decide not to join the Catholic Church, I'm still nice to them. And again, like I told my APO group in the last few videos, if you want to be an ally, if you want to be a good friend, just treat people the way you want to be treated. Like, it's the basics of 10 Commandments, Why is that so hard? And one time I just had a conversation, an honest conversation. I said, is it really too much to ask to just stop fronting appearances? And I understand nobody wants to air their dirty laundry out in public. I'm not asking you to. I'm not asking to be invited to your lake house. Like I told my APO friends, I don't want to be in your inner circle if you don't want me there. But at the very, very minimum, can you just say hello when you're in church? Hello when you're in Target? Hello, like, you don't have to be close to somebody. You can say hi to anybody. And I guess when I'm asking the Catholics that happen to come across this video, you don't have to be close friends to somebody, but you can still say hello. There's plenty of people that I'm not particularly close with. Hey, how's it going? Hope you're well. Take care. Or see you later. I mean, they're not going to come over to my house. I'm not going to go over to their house. But we are in the same church. And it's just being kind. Like, what happened to just being nice? I just don't understand. So I guess for me, when people in my church ask me what they can do, which I don't expect the question too much, because when I'm not in the city, they don't see me. Like, some of my old Catholic friends might send me messages. When they see me, when they message me, when they see me in church, and when they ask me the what can they do question, I'm just going to tell them, don't put people in the same category. Get to know people individually. The same thing I'm going to continue to tell people for the end of time. And like right now is a good time to keep the momentum up because George Floyd is now buried. And I do kind of notice it, it's kind of dying down. And this is the time we have to keep it going, build it back up, build momentum back up, because it's like when somebody passes away, leading up to the funeral, everybody's kind of like sharing the memories, posts, talking about the person. But then after they bury them, and then a couple weeks go by, a couple months go by, you notice how people stop talking? People are just kind of like radio silent. So I'm just going to ask people, it's hard to keep it up, but we have to keep it up. And like I posted this quote on my Instagram, if you're tired of hearing about racism, imagine living with it, imagine dealing with it. Because I know there's like some conversations off record with some of my white friends. They're like, why don't they just try to work harder and just do better? And why they keep always using the race card as an excuse? Just being honest, I've heard this conversation, and I walked in a couple rooms that I wasn't supposed to walk into and heard some interesting things. And to those people who say those things, you say those things because you don't have to deal with it. You don't care to understand because you don't know what it's like. So I'm just going to ask you, instead of thinking this way and talking that way, be more compassionate. This is for my Catholic Church people too. I've walked in those rooms where I was supposed to walk into. Be more compassionate. Take the time to understand somebody. Take the time to listen, not respond. That's my other phone going off. Boo. Take the time to listen instead of wanting to respond. Because I know a lot of people, they say they want to listen, but then they're just waiting to respond. When someone tells you their story of what experiences they've had with racism, just listen. Don't try to respond. Don't try to correct them. Don't act like you know everything. And again, I've had this experience in my own Catholic church where, oh, that didn't happen to you. That's not true. I love when people try to correct and act like they know everything when they don't. So I'm just going to ask, listen. Don't say a word. Let the person talk. Let them get that stuff off their chest. I think I want another sip of water now. Like I said, I don't plan on leaving the Catholic Church, but at the same time, some of the things that I've experienced makes me a little distant from them. I mean, cafeteria Catholic will probably be my appropriate title right now. I'll go ahead and post a article that I wrote on Medium a long time ago. Honestly explaining my thoughts as to why I probably won't go to my hometown parish again. I probably won't visit my Catholic churches when I'm in town. That kind of thing. And I mean, I've even had people tell me, not all parishes like that. I understand. But when you've had a bad experience with church, it kind of, for me, it just makes me not as trusting. Like, I rather go in a church where nobody knows me. I can just get in, get out, tell God the things I've done wrong and go on about my business. Because, I mean, I'm to the point where I just want to slip in, slip out. I don't even want to be involved anymore because there was a couple of parishes where I was involved. And then you see the clique thing, people who are closer to some people than others. I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but there's a couple times where I've tried out for retreats. You could tell the ones who were the favorites because they were picked every semester. But then I was usually picked every other semester, or they might pick me this semester and then maybe for the next couple semesters, and you've done this before, give somebody else a chance. So if that's the case, which I'm okay with, why don't they just have completely set of new people? But then there's always the group of people that they always pick. So question to anybody who's out there, who's come across this video, I don't care what religion you are, have you ever watched your church pick out their favorites? You're not one of them. You're not in the clique, you're not in the money group. You know that you're not a favorite, but you can tell who the favorites are based on them always being picked for certain committees, clubs. You're president of this, you're the lead of this, or whatever. Because I have so many stories that I could probably make this video over an hour, but I won't. Like the APO video, I wasn't gonna make that over an hour. I'm not gonna make this one over an hour either. But one of the things I always notice, the people who donated money, especially in my younger days, they had a unbelievable amount of power in the church. And I understand, like, I've had a couple conversations with priests, we got to pay the bills, but at the same time I'm not going to let richer members buy me like a pawn. And I've been in parishes where, and I'm not going to say the name of the parish of one that's in mind, one that I have in mind that comes up in my head, but I sat there and heard stories and actually watched priests, take money and, hey, do this, and you could tell, oh, that guy must have either had a bunch of money or that lady must have had a bunch of money because that priest doing everything they said, no questions asked. I'm gonna hire this guy's son because this guy has a lot of money and I want to make the money people happy. But then in making the money people happy, they are being unfair to everybody else. And I really appreciate how I had this conversation with a couple of priests. I understand we got to pay bills, but I'm going to be as fair as I can. I'm not going to let no rich person buy me like a pawn. I'm not going to let them run the parish. I'm not going to let them come in here and sabotage things. And that's what I like. They acknowledge that you got to pay bills, but they try to do everything fairly. I've been in situations where, again, you can tell who the power people are or the favorites because they're always in everything. They don't give other people a chance. And again, I understand people, we're not perfect. And I understand, like, we're all going to make mistakes. But to see this clique behavior in the church sometimes was bothersome, and it still is. Like, even when I run into a parish and I see it, I'm like, oh boy. So I guess to finish this video, I love the Catholics. We'll continue to go to church every now and then. You may see me, you may not. If you really want to be an ally or a friend, like some of you say you want to be, treat people the way you want to be treated. Get to know people outside your own culture. The same thing I said in my APO video. Invite them into your world and go into theirs. Have an open mind and, practice what we preach. There's so many Catholics that I know, not all, who throw these scriptures out oh yeah, I'm holier than thou, but then you're out here treating people mean. And some of the nicest people I've known in my life are people who don't go to church, people who have a different way of worshiping and believing. They're some of the nicest people I know. Like a lot of my friends are not Catholic. A lot of my family was Catholic, but then a lot of them are in different religions now. I have probably over 10, 20 different religions in my church because my mom told me stories. You know, everybody was baptized Catholic, but then everybody went their separate ways. So I'm going to go ahead and post the article below that explains it to further detail. I wrote this article like a couple years ago, so it has a couple of interesting experiences that I've had in the Catholic Church, and yeah, let me go ahead and stop for now. And it is around 4th of July as I make this video, so happy 4th of July. If it's Christmas, when you come across this video, Merry Christmas. If it's Halloween, Happy Halloween, you know, you get what I mean. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. I'll go ahead and take a shot. Oh yeah, one more thing before I get out of here. I really like this mask. I don't care what city I'm in. I'm gonna wear this. I really like that mask. I have different colors, but I really like that one. But alright, see y'all later. Bye!